In this video, we're using a dual-bladed kind of frost plus fire build. So one of the blades is going to apply frost damage and like build up frost, and the other one is going to be fire to reset it so that we can build up frost again. So the way it works is that we have two weapons. The second-hand weapon here is the Magma Blade for the fire. The first-hand weapon here is the Beastman's Claw, which has the Hoarfrost Stomp, which obviously applies the kind of like frost-cold build-up effect, and obviously this is with the cold affinity, so the more times you attack an enemy, the more often you're going to be able to kind of like proc frost, right? And you can also use Hoarfrost Stomp to get the frost procs, and because we have these two blades, they attack very quick. These are like curved blades that attack very fast, and now you're getting fire damage and frost damage at the same time, and they don't interrupt each other, which is great. So you can use like Hoarfrost Stomp here to build up cold buildup, or you can just use your normal attacks here when you're attacking an enemy to kind of get cold to proc just like that, and then you have fire that resets it immediately so that you can build up cold or frost damage yet again. So like infinitely, you can just keep building up both fire and frost damage. Like it doesn't actually cancel out the frost until the frost damage is actually procced on an enemy. Like that, as you can see, you can do insanely fast damage as long as you have enough stamina to just keep your attacks going. But for bigger enemies, you're going to want to kind of apply the frost, like as you can see on this wolf here, it's now like afflicted with frost, but you need to use a fire attack, which we have our other weapon. When you use the, just the double swings, you can actually proc it again, and you can see there we procced frost twice on that dog and killed him with all that damage. It is a bit dangerous though, because these enemies are able to hit you, and you gotta really get close up and dirty and be able to get off a bunch of swings to get that proc build up as much as you can. It's not an overpowered build, it's just a fun, interesting one that isn't like, the meta or anything. It's just a unique style that you can try and experiment with. And it can be really rewarding when you end up doing it right. I typically find it best to start out with Hoarfrost Stomp there, and you kind of get like as many kind of ticks on the frost that you can get there, just to get your first like frost proc out very quickly, and then you just go into spamming both weapons at the same time with the double attacks so that you can reset the frost and then try build it up again just in time to kill the enemy. In terms of buffs, we have a offhand kind of finger seal that grants us the Flame Grant Me Strength kind of incantation, which gives us a boost to physical damage as well as fire damage, and our Wondrous Physic, which kind of does successive attacks as well as fire damage. So when you're using this against enemies, it works both for the fire and the frost damage and your physical damage, which is going to be boosted by an insane amount. Even if your enemy is guarding, with all of your onslaught of attacks, you'll be able to pretty much easily kill most weaker enemies in the game. Just like that. Even certain bigger enemies or giants, if you catch them off guard and you get them with these like double strokes, you can absolutely annihilate them very nicely. So for this build, we have the Beastman's Cold Curved Sword. Obviously, this is just the normal Beastman's Sword with the Hoarfrost Stomp Ash of War with the Cold affinity. For the stats, you're going to mainly focus on Endurance and Strength, as much Strength as you can get, with a little bit of points into Dexterity and Faith, just so that you can use the Magma Blade as well as the Finger Seal. So we got the Magma Blade over here, and we're using this alongside the Finger Seal, the Frenzy Flame Seal, which also scales off of Strength, and it's really easy to equip because there's no required stats to use it. And we're only using this so that we can get the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation to buff our damage. Here's the armor pieces I'm wearing, in no particular reason why I'm wearing them, just because I was trying to like make a build that looks like Frost and Fire. For the talismans here, we have one that greatly increases our attack power of skills, which works great for Hoarfrost Stomp or the Magma Blade's Ash of War. Then we have Raise Fire Attack, so when we're using the Magma Blade, it works really nicely. Greatly raises attack power with successive attacks, which we do a lot. And then the final one, which allows us to raise stamina recovery speed. But you can also use one that just gives you extra stamina as well. For our Wondrous Physic, we're using the Boost Successive Attack Power, which is fantastic, and then one that boosts fire attack damage, or fire attacks in general. You can also try this build in the alternate way, where you use the Magma Blade as the main weapon, and you have the Beastman Claw as your offhand weapon, which is also a style that can work really well. Overall, I hope you guys think the build is interesting, or even want to try it out for something different in the game, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.